Alright. Another one from Dancehall Decoded. Back to back. Me we hear him say, wait, you don't want to see titles, right? Okay, my bad. Why Koffee really disappeared by Dancehall Decoded? Again, I already said that. We hear him say.
January 26, 2020, Jamaican artist Koffee would stand upon the world's biggest stage in front of millions. At the age of 19, she was being awarded the biggest honor a musician could have. Not only winning a Grammy, but being the youngest person to ever do so in her genre. With music playing
Billie Eilish was probably 19 at that time as well. Raised the talent, never come younger and younger. Am I right? No. Continue the video, okay.
in every country in the world and every corner of every street, she had everything an artist could ever want. But that's why
Koffee blew up like after like 3 songs or 2 songs. Or 3 or 2? How much? I remember, like 3 or 2 songs. She blew up like quick.
it was so surprising when just a few years later, she would completely vanish. Socials wiped, radio silence, and no music for years. The Americans and international fans wondered what could have possibly happened. But for the Jamaicans, it was a different story because...
Did they though? You think they might check for Koffee? I'm not gonna lie about it. It's a Jamaican thing. Alright, our song them a bust the bus. But I didn't think them did a check for Koffee. Like people on social media that say, where's this girl? I haven't seen her. I listened to her songs. I didn't think that did at all. But who knows? Probably she have like a big fan base overseas where we don't know about. But she did go like international quick, like for a little time.
Everybody knew that Koffee's career was highly controversial from the start, with a loud camp of people criticizing her for the way that she dressed, acted, and the heavy speculation of her sexuality. This conversation happened for years, but it would never actually affect Koffee's career until one day she made a move that would change everything. A move with consequences that would have the entire country debating her very existence in the culture, and a move that would ultimately lead to her mysterious disappearance. But what exactly did Koffee do? How did one of the most global superstars, supported by Drake, Rihanna, and Usain Bolt, end up as somebody who is now barely mentioned? And what led to her unfortunate disappearance? Well, there is no better place to examine this than Spanish Town in 2000, where young Michaela Simpson was born. And the music was already
come from? They know that.
Ingrained into her life because she would be surrounded by 2 environments that would shape everything. Her church, where she grew up singing in the choir, and the second was her neighborhood, because Spanish Town was not the place that...
Of course, always church. Most people say them get them started in a church. At least something could come out of church.
Sheltered you from what the realities of Jamaica were. And when her time in the church choir would eventually push her into her love for music, she knew that based on what she saw around her growing up, she wanted to make music that gave people a reason to believe that something better was possible. At 12 years old, she borrowed a guitar from a friend and taught herself how to play.
Oh my god, damn. Yo, sometimes wish like me could learn an instrument from me 12, you know. Over grade 6. Oh my god, imagine if me did have an instrument to learn from grade 6. Right now, probably the same. Probably would have be like a superstar right now, tour around the world. But damn, yo, oh my god, I wish me did have play an instrument that young. I don't think me have talent yet. Probably me have some hidden talent, dog. I'm not finding it yet, but you know, what are we gonna do?
Literally sitting around with records of Protégé and Chronics and learning from their songs until her fingers found the right shapes. And as her talent would continue to grow, it would expand.
Me just said, like, me playing a guitar, that would have tough.
Explode by age 14 because in third form she started writing her own lyrics, and by the time she was halfway through Arden High, she was performing at talent shows. But while her circle around her would continue to see her talent evolve, she would eventually grow to the age of 17 without ever releasing an official song. But that would all change in 2017 because she did something that was genuinely not calculated. You see, it was on this random day that Jamaica had just watched Usain Bolt run his final races at the World Championships in London, and as an avid supporter of her...
Me not that old. Me not that old, dog. Me not that old. That was not no 27. Me not that old, dog.
Country, who felt extremely proud in the moment, she felt the urge to sit down with her acoustic...
That's almost 10 years ago, you know. 2017, almost 10 years ago. Shit.
The guitar and write a tribute just for both. She posted it on Instagram, giving it the title Legend, and while she may not have thought much of it at the time, all that would change when the post would start to blow up. Out of absolutely nowhere, people shared it around because of the sheer talent they were seeing on their screen, and as the likes would continue to roll in, the whole town was seeing this talented girl. But everything would change when the stars themselves would align, and the video would make its way all the way to Usain Bolt himself. And feeling touched and completely impressed, he reposted it on his story. Yes, you heard that correctly, to all 10 million plus of his followers. And if it was blowing up before, you don't even want to imagine what it was doing now. With hundreds of thousands of people instantly being made aware of her voice, and producers, they were in her DMs like nothing. And in Koffee's own words, she was so excited that she and her mom were screaming in the house. But while the Jamaican industry was about to welcome their brand new star, little did she know that they would become the same ones to criticize her not long after. After all the anticipation from thousands of people, she decided it was time to release her first song, a single called Burning, a reggae banger that gave her earliest fans even more of a reason to like her. As much as the song was growing though, nothing could have prepared her for December of that year, because one day she would check her messages and see something from Usain Bolt himself saying, "Hey, I want you to perform for me at my event." And of course she did, as they unveiled his statue at the National Stadium, and she performed her tribute song in front of not only Bolt but also Andrew Holness, the Prime Minister himself. After this, it was Coco T, Protege, and Chronix, the very artists that she learned how to play guitar by listening to, who were asking her to perform with them on stage.
Yo, and my mic dead yet. You better see if my mic dead. Only give me a minute. Alright, me switch it out just to be safe. But I get back to the video. But even Panda screenshot of that. When the video got lead to is, oh, she probably gay or whatever. Look how she addressed though. I'm just happy. Like, look how she addressed. Like, I don't know if look how she addressed. I don't think, you know, it's like them did in a denial. If that is the case, I'm gonna show the video but based on the title and thumbnail, you know. If that is the case, like, we never see this all along, we just never want to believe it, dog. But then again, reggae, Jamaica, Play the video, okay.
They did, with stories of her absolutely killing these shows and becoming the most talked about person there. And while her life was changing at an absolutely rapid rate, she still could not have been
like imagine you're just busting a genre and like your third, fourth song them you link up with the top man them.
Prepared for the absolute bombshell that was about to drop on everything. Because it was just a couple months later in November of 2018 that something would happen that would shock the entire world. You see, there was a Jamaican producer in Miami who went by the name of Izzy Beats, working from a small budget studio with home equipment, creating beats day by day trying to make it into stardom. He would send them to as many artists as possible. And one day he made a specific beat for somebody that he really wanted on the song. But it was actually by accident that when his manager was sending out the beat, he actually attached the wrong email to this audio and it would end up in the hands of somebody completely different. That person is known as Walshy Fire, aka a member of Major Lazer. And from the moment he heard this beat, he knew exactly whose voice would belong on the song. Having met Koffee a while back because he really liked her song Burning and wanted to work with her, he had her contact, and from the moment he sent it over, the rest was history. Koffee would make the song toast, but absolutely nobody could have predicted that this would be the singular move that would change her life forever. From the very day this song dropped, it instantly became a massive hit song, garnering hundreds of thousands of views in record time, as she sung about gratitude, thankfulness, and how her life has changed to the point where she was performing with Chronix on stage and Protege, radio stations, street dances, buses. This song was literally everywhere, and eventually when it became inescapable in Jamaica, it found its way into the foreign scene, and it wasn't long before the snowball turned into a mountain. Drake posted it on his story. Rihanna was filmed in Barbados dancing to it, and even Barack Obama, who had just finished being the president of the United States, had added it to his summer playlist. When I say the song was everywhere, it was literally everywhere. And this girl who was previously unknown would just in a couple months accumulate over 50 million views. But as much as everything was moving faster than conception in all of the right directions, people also started to take note of a few things about the young singer. Personal details details about how she dressed and carried herself. And while that may have not been a big deal at the time, nobody knew just how far this conversation would end up going and how much it would lead to the worst possible outcome. After Toast would become an absolute global sensation, Koffee would get signed to international record label Columbia Records UK. And by 2019, they already had her releasing her debut EP, Rapture, filled with hit songs and big moments, and even going on to have a remix with Governor and a feature from Gunna. The success continued to such a level that by 2020, at just 19 years old, Koffee would become nominated as the youngest person ever and the first woman ever to be nominated for Best Reggae Album. And keep in mind, most of the people in the reggae category are the people who've been doing it for years, including Bob Marley, who is still being nominated over new artists for some reason. But still, even with all the competition from these seasoned veteran artists with their big projects, everybody waited in anticipation that night for who the winner would be. And the bomb was dropped when they would announce that this 19-year-old girl with a 5-song EP won the award. In front of the entire world, young Koffee would go on that stage and hold her Grammy. Arguably the biggest accomplishment in a musician's career that not even the king of dancehall himself has ever done. And that was hers. And not even a few hours later, she would book an overnight flight to Washington, D.C., where she would perform for a Tiny Desk concert, which now has over 10 million views. Koffee would obliterate the set at Coachella, perform for Harry Styles' tour. By every conceivable metric, she was the most exciting new artist that Jamaica had produced in years. But as the years would pass by and she would start to become larger than life, the complications would also show themselves a lot louder. Now, like I said before, the questions about Koffee's personal life had been forming from the very moment Toast blew up. They always pointed out that Koffee did not exactly look like what a typical female artist would look like. While Jada Kingdom was singing about the banana and, well, you know, Koffee
like a typical artist. Well, she can't just look like herself. You know, to even say the typical artist. She had the reggae kind of dancehallish. Most, yeah, man, dancehall more than reggae. I would say. What you go me and say? So me I say that. But people.
His attire was more akin to oversized t-shirts and baggy pants, with locks, no makeup and no jewelry. And perhaps that fit the image of the Rasta vibe, so maybe that even boosted her career initially. But as time would go by, people would observe more and more that it seemed to go beyond just the music or the vibe. That in every post and every appearance, she just seemed to take on a more, masculine presenting appearance. And of course, Jamaica being as harsh as it is on...
them nothing go like, cause even most Rasta woman, them have lick them alright, take a Rasta woman more likely to be act masculine than a woman in a Rasta. So they say, oh, her behavior is she act too manly or this, so even not looking at sexuality or nothing, just being Rasta, the woman she got more masculine. I don't think they just
certain topics had their fair share of things to say about these speculations. And one notable individual who was leading the charge of this conversation, a man who has never in life let a single thought remain within his head, a Jamaican producer named Foota Hype, who went on to talk extensively about how Koffee dresses like a man, and that as a public figure who is representing Rastafarian values, she should dress more femininely so that people don't have to question her sexuality.
I want Koffee to give you a more feminine sense of fashion. That's when I have a question her sexuality.
And whether you like him or hate him, the truth is that a lot of people were thinking the same thing. But through all of this controversy and back and forth, Koffee did not say a single word. She may have addressed one time's controversy or hate him. The truth is that a lot of people were
it's obvious of the Koffee lockdown videos say she prefer female. Foota right or
thinking the same thing. But through all of this controversy and back and forth, Koffee did not say a single word. She may have addressed one time that she prefers to wear comfortable clothing, but in regards to personal details, she was absolutely silent and just kept her head down and focused on the music. And in all honesty, for the first couple years of her career, this seemed like it was working. But with thousands of new Jamaicans finding her music every single day, eventually the attention became too much, and in 2021, it only took a spark to get a massive fire going. going. Around April of that year, everybody would log on to their timelines to see a picture of Koffee going viral. It was a picture of her and a particularly attractive woman beside her, but the way that they looked was almost akin to a man and his girlfriend. And you already know the fans went insane.
We have the hand on the waist.
It was a picture of her and a particularly attractive woman beside her, but the way that they looked was almost...
Yeah, that are different person but same viral effect. Okay. The hand on the waist, Koffee. Not beating the allegations with the on your Koffee at all. It's okay though, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I saw a girl posted them friend all the time.
Akin to a man and his girlfriend. And you already know the fans went insane. What the F? It's a man. Everybody patiently await until you admit it. Too much hypocrite. Koffee, your woman pretty though. With some comments even making jokes like saying coffee and mint tea, coffee and Milo, which of course made the already inflammatory rumors 100 times worse. Because of all the attention being sent her way, the girl in the picture quickly went public to clarify that she was in fact just a fan and she did not know Koffee in real life. But unfortunately, the damage had already been...
Koffee just have to look like a thugs more than I picture them Koffee, don't know. Drop his shoulder them. One of that Koffee give them.
Done. And maybe if Koffee had chosen to speak on this incident, then it would have changed the public perception. But like normal, she decided to stay silent. And in the eyes of people who were speculating, that made her look even more quote-unquote...
That's the best thing still, to stay silent. I know for them business. Yeah, you need to respond, yeah.
Guilty. And as time would pass, this cycle would continue over and over. But not exactly in the way that you'd probably think. Because the truth is, if we're being 100% real, it had been years since Koffee came into the game. People pretty much knew where she was going with all of this, and I think most of the country came to terms with the fact that she's probably interested in women. Yes, there were a few weirdos who took it too far and a pretty good amount of jokes being made, but I think we can fairly say the average Jamaican did not really care. I mean, she's a woman who allegedly likes women. Most Jamaican men do not care and even fetishize this behavior to a large degree. And most Jamaican women are just...
Man, dog, just money in general, like majority, them fetishize that.
Women in general low-key be moving gay themselves. I mean, I'm pretty sure Jada Kingdom is bi. Anyways, that's besides the point. So in all honesty, her actual career was never really going to be affected by this. Her numbers could have stayed the same and she could have continued to just never address it and keep making good music. But the thing about the human brain is that it's never the 99% of people supporting you that stand out. It's the 1%, the loud minority chipping away at your mental health day by day, year by year, that slowly gets to people. And after years and years of controversy, there would finally come a day where Koffee would snap and for the first time in her golden career do something that was possibly detrimental. About 2 years would pass and Koffee would gain many more international affiliates in the industry. And one day while she was at a music festival in London, she would come across a global superstar, a man who recognized her instantly and loved what she did. And that man was none other than Sam Smith. And if you don't know who he is, not only is he one of the world's most famous pop stars, but he is also very much 100% gay. As you can probably imagine though, many women love Sam Smith and so the two connected over each other's music. But this would take a whole new level when they would decide to make a collaboration. A move that was obviously risky considering it was very clear that Jamaicans would have had something to say about Sam Smith being gay. But surprisingly, that is actually not what made this whole thing go insane. Because if we're being real, just a simple act of collabing with him could have been fine. We all know that women support LGBT creators so much that the whole reason Jamaican gay men have such large followings is because the women support them. So Koffee singing a typical family-friendly R&B song with Sam Smith would not have been the craziest thing in the world. But that is not what they did. Instead of taking that approach, the world would come to find out their creative vision on January 11th, 2023 when they would drop the song Gimme, featuring another artist named Jessie Reyes. And within the first minute, everything hit the fan. The song takes place in an underground nightclub environment resembling a dance hall, while a dancehall / reggae beat plays in the background and Sam Smith starts to sing lyrics, making it very clear that this song was going to be hypersexual. And we know he ain't...
Okay, me understand now. Okay, maybe, but then like just people, she can do what she want to, but still, yeah, me get it. But Damn.
singing about no girl. Then he proceeds to say, and I kid you
No
not,
buts, dog. If she want make a music video with Sam Smith and Jesse Reyes or whatever she name, go ahead. But I'm not saying that, but I just the reggae thing and Rasta the most nastiest and freakiest man them and Rasta man them, so boy.
walk before you run, your eyes on my dun dun da dun, while he zooms in on his ass practically wearing a thong. I am not making this up. This alone would have been enough to make most Jamaicans lose their minds. But it only proceeded to get wilder with men in dresses with mustaches and just general gay nightclub energy. But as for Koffee specifically,
that is
as much as her
gay, that is a super gay that can't gay no more. Yeah, like no question asked when them see that video there for real.
did see a side to her that we've never seen before. Because for the first time, we would see her whining another girl. And yes, women do whine other women in the culture, but considering the fact that this is literally in an LGBT club, plus she's presenting very masculine while she's doing it, a lot of people essentially saw it as a coming out of the closet. And it didn't help the fact that there was a pan shot of two girls making out for the entire video. And aside from all the gay-related stuff, the image and brand of Koffee's career up to this point had always been very family-friendly, clean, no cursing, no bad words. In fact, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure she's never used a curse word in her music. At least that's what Google's telling me, and I believe it. So when you have the epitome of clean music going not just to sexual music, but hypersexual gay music, the contrast was just too much at once, and Jamaica absolutely imploded on this video. Could never be Japitnia and live like this. Lava splash. All of this goes against Ja Kingdom. No, this is sad. Not Koffee. Shame. She sold her soul. How much was your soul worth? Better you stay pure. You were killing it on your own. Respect to all.
Pure. Stick something where everybody have. The pastor, daughter, pastor, son. Pure. A history still on the quote-unquote culture.
The Jamaican artists keeping it real. Now they own you. The Nightly Fix made a whole podcast debating this subject, and it even went so far that reggae legend herself, Queen Ifrica,
me can understand it from the perspective of reggae and Rasta and this and that. But then again, them people are hypocrite too, so like, okay. You see, everybody a hypocrite, dog. So just live your life. If you're not hurt nobody, yeah, send hate to nobody, them a hypocrite, dog.
Came out to address this and said at the end of one of her performances, "Hey, dirty Sam Smith, let me tell you something. That country belong to God. Hear that? Una not feel like me again, cause una don't know like me already." Expressing her vehement disapproval. But here's the most surprising part of it all. As much as so many people weighed in their negative opinions on what Koffee was doing, if you were to look at her own fan base or even read the comments on the video itself, you would see something completely different. With people saying that they support what she's doing, breaking barriers, and how they're glad she can finally be herself in such a homophobic country. Why are Jamaicans acting as if they were clueless about Koffee? Damn, love her.
I cope, them see how she dress, them see how she go on. Not because of reggae, come on, we see, oh, that she little more Rasta than, you know. Some don't know, I cope them did a cope and them just never want to believe it. Now that it come out, them want kill off. Ooh.
Why is everyone acting so surprised? She's been the same Koffee y'all supported from the start. It's just now that she's not hiding it, but don't act like y'all didn't know. And more people basically saying, yes, Koffee, love has no gender, and they still love her anyway. At this point, it was clear that most of the backlash was coming from outside of her own fan base. Meaning her actual supporters have already decided from years ago that they didn't care if she was gay or not. Which meant that she could have still...
Good, brother, if the music good, the music good. Well, not for everything. Yeah, something off which I learn and say like, yo, some weird people.
Went on to have a great career.
Again, like sometimes like go and listen to music. The music still good. The music, you get what I say? But I know every time you can't do that. But most times though. Music good.
Career. However, for whatever reason, this last wave of backlash seemed to have been the breaking point. Because after this, people would notice that she would completely vanish. Days, weeks, months, but nothing but radio silence. No posts, no stories, and certainly not any music. And before long, her Instagram page would be completely wiped and she would disappear from the culture entirely. Of course, she never actually said that the reason why she disappeared was the backlash. But considering it was the last major thing she did before it happened, it was the public's natural conclusion. And this silence would last for a full 2 years. Eons in the Jamaican industry.
Like, and even when just remember some Speed in a Speed Live where the woman who did the tour Bob Marley. Like she a Rasta dog and you hear she talk like she more is it? So just out of that. And then Koffee want be where she want be. Where them are going like say, oh, I never saw she stay from this and that. And then them say when I go like, oh, like the Rasta woman, them the kind of more masculine than the non-Rasta woman them. Based on what me see though, overall.
In 2025, she would eventually return with her first song on her...
And I don't know if I say this, but nothing is wrong with that. It's not a bad thing. Mistake. Wait, give me a second. Gotcha.
Page in 4 full years, a song named after herself. But after that, once again, it was pure radio silence. And this brings me to the main point of the video. People genuinely believed that the song with Sam Smith ruined Koffee's career, or that the backlash of her going against the culture ruined her image. But at the end of the day, Koffee was one of, if not the biggest breakout stars from Jamaica, internationally, in so many countries that did not give one singular shit about what Jamaican people thought, which meant, regardless of what was being said, her numbers were still fine, which means that the only person capable of ruining Koffee's career was herself. She simply chose to stop making music. Everybody's been waiting for her. Millions of people want to see her come back. She knows this. But perhaps she saw the fame, lifestyle, and everything that comes with it and decided that she prefers peace over persecution. In the end, nobody truly knows why Koffee did what she did. But maybe there was a whole other side to the hate that we were not seeing. And when it comes to choosing money over personal fulfillment, many people would rather choose the second option. So wherever she is right now, I do truly hope that she's doing fine. But speaking of female Jamaican artists and their personal lives, Jada Kingdom and Steph London, while arguing...
But that's the video, guys. That's the video. Only thing. What do you guys think? Me think of your life, make sure the show and should not hurt nobody. Fine. And this pure talk and this and that talk, yeah, that's just culture. And that clearly, that them are more, as I say, them people are most hypocritical people them ever. Them are the worst. Them are the worst than what them think Koffee do, because she never come tell nobody nothing. Just live her life and she do what she want to do. So that being said, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.